Hi friends, my name is Akil Ahmed, and in this particular video tutorial I will show you how to migrate data from Zoho CRM and then how to migrate data from PostgreSQL, combine the data into a single data set and then insert the data into the SQL Server database. So the agenda of today's video tutorial is that first we will fetch data from the Zoho CRM and then we will fetch the data from the PostgreSQL database, and after that we will integrate the data using the merge join transformation in SSIS, and we'll use the derived column transformation to add some additional columns, and after that we will use the data conversion task to convert the data type of the column, and then we'll insert the data into the SQL Server database. So this is the agenda of today's video tutorial. So without wasting further time, let's jump to the demo. So in this particular video we will be using the SSIS data flow components from the Devart. They offer a wide variety of components to fetch the data from different sources like from MySQL, from Oracle, Zoho CRM, PostgreSQL, Snowflake, etc. So you can download their trial version and you can try the components for 30 days for free. And if you want to buy their components, then you can use the coupon code LearnSSIS10 to get the 10% discount on the SSIS integration bundle. We will be using the Zoho CRM to fetch the data from. So let me open the Zoho CRM here. If you don't have an account, then you can open a free account here on the Zoho CRM for 30 days and you can try their product. So the Zoho CRM can be used for your business. It provides a lot of functionalities, like you can handle the accounts data, you can handle the context information and a lot more. So this is the default sample data. So when you create your account, so this data will be populated by the Zoho CRM. So here you can see the account details, like these are the account names, phone number, websites, okay, and the account owner. Similarly, if you want to see the calls, so here you can see that there is a follow-up call with the lead, and then if you want to go to the leads, so you can see the leads here. Okay, so you can see the lead name, company name, email, phone number. So we have different tables here. Similarly, we have the contacts table here, which contains the data for the different persons, like their name, account name, email, phone number, etc. Okay, so we want to fetch data from the Zoho CRM. Okay, and on the other side I have the pgadmin4 tool, which is used to fetch the data from the PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL is an open source database management system. So it contains one server right now on my machine. So if you expand this one, so this is the PostgreSQL 17 version, and under this particular server we have only one database here, and if you expand the database, then the database name is Postgres, and if you expand the schemas, so we have a public schema, and inside the public schema, inside the tables we have two tables. So there is an address table and there is an employee table. So for example, if you look at the address table, so it contains the data for different accounts. So yeah, it contains the data for different accounts, and it contains the residential addresses like address, city, state, and zip. So this kind of data it contains. Okay, so now let me do one thing. Let me create an SSIS package which can actually fetch the data from the Zoho CRM as well as from the PostgreSQL. Will integrate the data using the merge join transformation. Merge join behaves very similar to the joins in the SQL Server, like we have the inner join, left join, right join. So same way we have the inner join, left join, right join in the merge join transformation. Okay, so let me open the Visual Studio. So this is my Visual Studio 2019 that I will be using today to create the SSIS package. Because we want to migrate the data, we want to fetch the data from Zoho CRM. So for fetching the data, we will be using the data flow task. So I can just drag and drop the data flow task from the toolbox into the control flow window. And now I can double click the data flow task We will be using the same data flow task to fetch data from Zoho CRM and from the PostgreSQL. So I can open the SSIS toolbox, and first I want to fetch data from the Zoho CRM. So I can type Zoho here and I can type CRM. So you can see the components here: Devart, Zoho CRM, source, lookup and destination. So because we want to read the data from the Zoho CRM, so we can use the Zoho CRM source here. So I can just drag and drop the Zoho CRM source into the data flow task. Alright, and now I can just configure this particular Zoho CRM source. So I need to make a new connection here so that it can make a connection to the Zoho CRM. So from the drop down, I can select the create new connection manager. So inside the domain, because right now I'm in India, so I need to provide this particular domain, okay, and then I can click on the web login so that it can get the refresh token from there. So I can click on the web login. So I need to log in with my credentials. So the company name is the ABC when I created the account. So I need to click on the accept so that it can allow the access to the Devart SSIS components. So you can see that the authorization is successful. So now I can go back to the SSIS package, okay, and now from the domain I can select the crm.zoho.in domain, okay. Now I can click the test connection. I selected the .in because I'm in India right now, so that's why. So the connection is successful, so I can click OK. So it is able to make a connection to the Zoho CRM, and now it's retrieving the table metadata. On the left side you can see all the tables available, okay, like we have the accounts table. So if you click on a particular table, so you can also see the column names here, okay. And if you want to preview the data, so you can simply drag and drop the table inside the query, so it will automatically generate the select query. If you want to preview the data, so you can click on the preview data option here, so it will preview the data from the accounts table. So you can see that you can also maximize this window to see all the columns, to see a bigger picture of the columns, okay. I can close this one. On the right side you can also use the variables as well. So suppose you have some user defined variable or maybe some system variable, so you can use the variables inside the SQL query. So I will be selecting the data from the contacts table, okay. So I can just drag and drop the contact table into the query window, and I can preview the data as well. So the preview is also looking good. So here you can see that it contains the information about the contacts, their names, account, okay, and then email, some other information as well. So it contains person's addresses as well, like it contains mailing addresses, okay, like mailing street, mailing city, mailing state, all this information. So that's okay, that's fine. So I can close this one and then I can click OK. So the Zoho CRM has been successfully configured. Now we want to actually fetch the data from the PostgreSQL. So I can type Postgre here, and then there are three components here: Devart, PostgreSQL source, lookup, destination. So because we want to fetch the data from PostgreSQL, so we can use the PostgreSQL source here, okay. Now we can also make a connection to the PostgreSQL. So there is one thing that we want to fetch the data from the Zoho CRM, okay, and there was an account column, and same account column is available inside the addresses table as well in the PostgreSQL. So we can do a join on the account column, and then we can get the additional residential addresses from the PostgreSQL table, okay. So let's configure the PostgreSQL source as well. Right click and select edit. Then from the connection managers you can click on the create new connection manager, and it will allow you to make a connection to the PostgreSQL server. Alright, so you need to provide all these details. So right now I don't know like what are the details here, so I can open the pgadmin4 tool, okay, and I can right click on the server, go to the properties, then you can go to the connection. So the host name is this one, the server name is this, the local host, so I can provide the detail here. Now the port number is 5433, so I can provide the correct port here. Now the username is this one, Postgres, so I can provide it here. Now let me type the password as well, save my password. Now I can select the database, so the database name is Postgres. Now I can select the schema, so the schema name is public. So all these details are correct as per my configuration of the PostgreSQL. Now I can click on the test connection. So the test connection is successful. So it's very easy to make a connection to the PostgreSQL here. So I can click OK, then I can click OK. As soon as you click OK, so it will fetch the table details on the left side. So right now I have only two tables, address and employee, so that's why only two tables are visible here. I can simply drag and drop the address table into the query window, and I can preview the data as well from the address table. So it contains only 5 columns, so that's okay. I can close the preview data window and I can click OK. So now I have configured the Zoho CRM source. I have also configured the PostgreSQL source. Okay. Now we need to actually combine the data, integrate the data together using an inner join on the account ID column. So we will be using the merge join transformation. So I can type merge join, so I can just drag and drop the merge join here. But before using the merge join, you also need to sort the data. So for that particular thing, you need to use the sort transformation. So I can actually drag and drop the sort transformation. Let me make a copy of it so that it can be used before both the sources. Like this is the left source and this is the right source. So I can connect the Zoho CRM source with the sort transformation, and I can right click and configure the sort transformation. We need to sort the data based on a particular column, so I can sort the data based on the account column. So this is the same column, account column, which exists on the PostgreSQL as well. So I can click OK. Now same way we can connect the PostgreSQL source with the sort transformation. Configure this one, sort the data based on the same column, account ID, click OK. So we have configured both the sort transformations. Now let's connect the left output of the sort transformation to the merge join input. Inside the input we can select that merge join left input. This is the left table. Okay, so I can click OK. Now the second one will be automatically treated as the right input. Now I can right click and configure the merge join transformation here. From the join type we have 3 joins: inner join, left join and the full outer join. Okay, so that's fine. So here the right join is missing, which is available in SQL Server. So suppose if you need to use the right join, then you can just switch the sources with each other. Okay, so that's fine. So now it has automatically actually detected that the account column from the Zoho CRM, it can be connected with the account ID of the PostgreSQL. So it has automatically detected this one. So that's great. Now from the left side, these are the columns from the Zoho CRM. On the right side, these are the columns from the Postgres. Okay, so you can select the columns, whatever columns you want from the Zoho CRM. For example, you can select those columns. If you want all the columns, then you can just click on the top side. It will select all the columns, will add all the columns to the output here. Okay, suppose if you want to skip some of the columns, maybe like the contact image, so you can unselect them. They will be removed from the output. Suppose I don't want the description as well, so I can remove them as well. So that's fine. So I have selected all other columns from the left input. Okay, now from the right side, I want the residential address, residential city, residential state and the residential zip. So these 4 columns have been added to the output window as well. Now in case if you want to rename any of the column, then you can change their names here and they will be changed in the data flow. So I think we have configured this correctly, and the join will be inner join. Okay, so only the matching records from both the sources will be proceeded further to the output. So I can click OK. we have configured the merge join transformation. Now suppose I want to add some additional columns in the data flow, like I want to add the current date, like the time when the package was ran, and the user who has actually ran the SSIS package. So I can use the derived column transformation here for that particular thing. The derived column transformation can be used to add some additional columns into the data flow. Okay, so I can drag and drop the derived column transformation here. Now I can connect the merge join with the derived column, and then I can double click the derived column transformation. So I want to get the current date time. So for that particular thing, inside the date time functions, we have the get date function, which we can just drag and drop into the expression, and then we can give this particular column some name. Like I can give the column as created, okay, or create date. That's fine. So this column has been added. If you look at the data type, so the data type is database timestamp, okay, dt_db timestamp. So that's fine. Now I want to add the user who is running the package. So the user detail can be found inside the system variable. So I can just click on the variables and parameters, and then I can expand the system variables. So here you can see a variable username. So you can just drag and drop the username into the expression, okay, and then give the column name maybe the same name as username. If you see here the data type of this particular column, so it's Unicode string 18. Unicode string means nvarchar 18. Okay, suppose you want to increase the length here. Okay, so how you can do that? You can expand the typecast here, and then there is a typecast, you know, the expression here dt_wstr. So you can just drag and drop this one before this particular expression. So here in place of the length, you need to provide your length. So suppose I want to give the length as 100, so I can give the length as 100, and then I can press enter. So now you can see that the length has been changed to 100. Okay, so this will be nvarchar 100. Now suppose I want the data type as varchar 100. So for that particular thing, I can use this one dt_str length and then code page. So I can just drag and drop it before this expression. So the length I can provide here like 100, and the code page will be 1252. Okay, so I can just press enter. So now you can see that from the data type it got changed to the dt_str, okay, and the code page is 1252 NC Latin I. Okay, so this is varchar 100. So we have added two columns here, one date time column and another varchar column. So I can click OK. So this is good so far. So now if you want to change the data type of some of the column, so for that particular thing you can use the data conversion transformation. So I can actually drag and drop the data conversion transformation into the data flow, and I can connect the derived column with the data conversion. Now double click the data conversion transformation to configure this one. Now here you can see all the available columns in the data flow. So let's look at the last column, username. So right now the username is of type varchar 100. Okay, suppose you want to change the data type to maybe nvarchar 100 or something else, so you can change it here. So from the data type you can just select the Unicode string. Unicode string means nvarchar. Okay, earlier we created it as varchar, now we are changing it to nvarchar. Okay, using the data conversion transformation. And now the output name of this particular column will be copy of username. Okay, if you want to change this value you can also change it, or if you want to remove it, so you can also remove it. However, when you will be using this particular column, so now because the source column name is also username and the output column name is also username, so it will show two options like data conversion dot username or the other one like derived column dot username, or whatever may be the source name. So you can easily figure out like which one you want to use. Okay, so right now the both the column names are same, username. So we have done a data conversion here. We have changed the data type of the username from varchar 100 to nvarchar 100. If you want to change the length maybe 200, so you can also do that, that's totally fine. Okay, so I can click OK. Now let's insert the data into a SQL Server table. So for that particular thing we can use the OLEDB destination. So I can just simply drag and drop the OLEDB destination into the data flow task, connect the data conversion with the OLEDB destination, right click, edit, click new to create a new connection manager. We have a connection manager which connects to the Devart database, so I can select this one, click OK. From data access mode we can select table or view fast load so that it can do the bulk insert. So I have this particular instance and I got a database here, Devart database. Okay, so right now these are the tables in this particular database. So to create a new table I can click new and I can give the table name as Zoho CRM underscore Postgres data. Okay, if you scroll down, so you can see that there are two columns with the name as username. First one is the derived column which is varchar 100, another one is data conversion with the name as nvarchar 200. Okay, so suppose because all other columns like the majority of the string columns they have like nvarchar, so I think I will keep the nvarchar one, so I can remove the first one because the value will be same inside both the columns, only the data type is different. So I will remove this data conversion dot. Okay, so the column name will be created with the name as username and the data type will be nvarchar 200. So I can click OK. It will create a new table Zoho CRM Postgres data in the database. I can go to the mappings to make sure that all input columns have been mapped with the destination columns. All the columns are mapped except the last column, of course, because the source column name was something else, so that's why SSIS was not able to understand like which one to map with the username because both the column name was same. So I will be using the data conversion dot username with the username destination column. So I can click OK. So everything looks fine. So to execute the package you can click on the start button. So it should read data from the Zoho CRM and at the same time it should read data from the PostgreSQL source, should sort the data based on the account ID, then it can do a inner join between both the sources, and then in the matching criteria it will select majority of the columns from the left source and the residential columns from the right source, and after that it will add two additional columns, created date and the username in the data flow, and after that it will do a data conversion, and in the data conversion we are actually converting the data type from varchar to nvarchar 200, and then finally inserting the data into the SQL Server database. So that's the thing that we are doing here in this particular SSIS package. So you can see that it was successful. So the process was very smooth. So I did not have to write any code for fetching the data from the Zoho CRM or fetching the data from the PostgreSQL. So the Devart SSIS components did the task for us. So I can go back to the SQL Server and I can refresh the tables so that I can see the newly created table Zoho CRM Postgres data. So I can right click and select top 1000 records. There should be 10 records actually. Yeah, so you can see the 10 records. So these records, the majority of the records are from the Zoho till this one other country, and then rest of the columns like residential address, residential city, residential state, residential zip, these 4 columns they are from the PostgreSQL. And this create date column, this is generated automatically in the derived column transformation, and this username, this is also generated from the system variable automatically using the SSIS package. Yeah, so this was the migration of data from 2 different sources, doing some integration, doing some data conversion, adding some additional columns in the data flow. Yeah, so you can download the trial version of the Devart components on your machine, and they offer a wide variety of components. You don't need to write any code for fetching the data from a list of different sources. If you got any question, then you can comment on the video. So I think that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching the video, and if you like the video then please click the like button, do subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon and click on all so that you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much.